From the creepy crawlers we see on our ceiling to the mysterious swimming in the ocean, there is definitely room to be afraid of what we aren't sure about. However, most of the animals you're probably scared of aren't that scary. On this episode of Mostly Everything, we'll be looking at animals that aren't as dangerous as you think.
Call animal control.
How could fish that can surround and tear apart large animals and humans in a matter of moments not sound terrifying? Well, the answer is actually very straightforward. Pop culture does not depict animals accurately. In fact, they are depicted extraordinarily and overlooked from what they are actually like. Piranhas, with their sharp teeth used to catch prey and their powerful bite, are not very much interested in the human species and are no real immediate danger for us. According to some researchers, most piranhas usually don't even bother to come towards humans as they entered piranha-infested waters to test this. In contrast, the fish fully enjoyed the bloody meat given to them later on after the experiment. Though some attacks may occur, most of the time people swim around them very easily without getting hurt. The fact is that they move in a group and swarm for their own guard and defense rather than to attack, as they are quite low on the natural food chain. A terrifying creature, which is neither camel nor spider and has a look which can frighten people as if it were a sci-fi movie alien, has had quite a number of myths surrounding it. According to some of these claims about camel spiders, or solifagai, they've been painted as fast and large creatures that are poisonous enough to kill small animals and even humans. Viral online pictures and various stories have helped create clear imagery of this creature rumored to grow up to a whopping 3 feet long. This imagery, however, is nowhere near the truth, but rather an illusion. There isn't any doubt that this creature is very terrifying, but is not as large as claimed, as they typically can grow up to only 5 to 6 inches long. Moreover, although the horrific camel spiders can give an unpleasant bite, they're not poisonous, nor can you die from it, and they tend to run away rather than come to bite anyone. Bats have consistently been divisive, as some see them as frightening and gross, while others as very cool or cute. However, they've without a doubt gained notoriety throughout recent decades with continuous appearances in media and freshly acquiring huge disrepute for being the most described reason for the major coronavirus pandemic that has lasted past 2020. Truthfully, while bats can totally spread rabies and other infections and illnesses, and vampire bats that basically harm by sucking blood likewise exist, this in reality addresses a tiny percentage of bats.
Wow, someone forgot to take their true blood tonight.
I'm not a vampire.
Most species are not actual critical transporters of disease, and vampire bats aren't commonly keen on people either. Misconstrued in yet another manner, despite popular belief, these fluffy, flying vertebrates are not even blind. Bristly and huge, probably the biggest spiders on the planet, or, in the Goliath bird-eater tarantula situation, biggest on the planet by both body length and mass, and second only in leg span, these 8-legged creatures have obviously gathered a ton of media attention as genuine beasts.
Goodbye, friend of Hagrid.
Can we panic now? What many don't have a clue about is that they're relatively not as horrific as they may appear to be. While Old World species or species from other parts of the world that don't include the Americas can be very fast and aggressive, their poison isn't viewed as medically critical, and some New World species, or those from the Americas, are tremendously passive and easygoing, popular as pets, and viewed as delicate, huge creatures. While it's reasonable that they will not instantly become the most widely adored creature, and being chomped by those fangs is absolutely a thing to be avoided, there are no records of human deaths brought about by tarantula bites, and truly, they would just prefer to be left alone. It makes sense that there's a typical fear of snakes, especially with how Hollywood likes to portray them in films like Snakes on a Plane.
Had it with these snakes on this plane.
But while they are considered as the most dangerous and venomous creatures in any certain area, there is a lot of exaggeration on the subject, as although some are quite poisonous and should be feared, most of them are not. As a precaution, no one should advance towards a snake, especially when they are not sure if it's poisonous or not. Most snakes are neither aggressive nor seek the human species as their preferred meal. Hence, they usually avoid wasting their valuable venom on us. Only a small percentage of snake species are actually dangerous to us humans. Some of them may even bite dry as a warning, only for their self-defense rather than poison you. Moreover, the better availability of antivenoms will further reduce deaths due to snake venom. Another creature that also gets an extreme response from people are scorpions, which look quite odd with pincer-like pedipalps, a strange body, and a tail with a venomous sting. Many individuals living in warmer climates are highly terrified of the thought of coming across a scorpion, and while some of them are poisonous for sure, the fact is most of them aren't. These 8-legged creatures don't really want anything to do with us, and only 20 to 25 out of 1,500 species identified so far in the world are medically significant and consequently hazardous. A significant number of scorpions have a hurtful sting, but only equal to about that of a bee sting, unless you are extremely unfortunate or are living in an area where the more dangerous species are found. Surely, one should avoid getting stung by a scorpion, but shouldn't be afraid to die because of it unless it's a highly venomous one. Numerous individuals highly misinterpret poison dart frogs. These frogs have acquired fame due to the amount of poison they contain, which can easily kill about a dozen adults and is generally thought to be perhaps one of the most harmful creatures on Earth. They are surely something to fear, if you were to eat one. Otherwise, there may be no reason to worry. The prevalent view that any contact with these frogs is deadly altogether is false. Worrying over one of these frogs hopping onto an individual's skin and causing his or her death, or, as some legends go, causing outrageous hallucinations, is totally not needed. Rough handling of them may bring about some agony, yet unless a lot of poison gets into an individual's bloodstream through, say, an open wound or, as referenced prior, the frog is consumed, they are not actually all that dangerous. Another intriguing and shocking detail is that they lose their poison completely while in captivity, making scientists believe that they acquire their toxicity from what they eat. However, it's not known at the moment from what plant or animal, to be exact. Another well-known film star, sharks are very feared creatures, though it would be more reasonable to be afraid of a dog rather than a shark. While movies like Jaws have had an enormous social effect even present today, all things considered, shark attacks are very much uncommon. And out of the many differing shark species on the planet, just around a dozen or two are involved in human attacks. Surprisingly, even at that point, researchers presume that it's frequently on the grounds that sharks confuse us for their ordinary prey, a group which we don't fall into. Shark attacks are incredibly uncommon, and fatalities just form a small portion of those. For example, in 2018, there were just 5 recorded fatalities from sharks within the entire year, compared to the large numbers of sharks executed by us every year. Your odds of biting the dust due to a shark are 1 out of millions, and surprisingly, the saying that sharks can smell blood from miles away in the water is just fiction. This one is a bit complicated, yet quite interesting. A number of cockroaches, those that we recognize as trouble, deserve to be feared and hated as they are the reason for nightmares and terrors of many new homeowners or renters, and may also come as a sickening shock in different eateries as well.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
These species truly deserve to be called terrifying, but most people don't know that these don't really address all cockroaches well. While most people don't really enjoy the presence of cockroaches, actually of an almost 5,000 staggering variety and fascinating types of cockroaches, only a few are actually found in homes. Along with this reality, one may also understand that the survivability of cockroaches is highly misrepresented. While unquestionably tough, they'd get no opportunity of surviving after an atomic explosion.
I'm sorry. Was that your auntie?
And most don't live on for decades, in spite of another fairly famous cockroach myth. While our list had a different spot for tarantulas as its own exceptional case, there's actually no group of creatures more misconceived overall. A large and varied number of species, they're viewed as the most widely recognized fear on the planet. Even their smallest of species scare millions or possibly billions of human individuals out just by existing. Spiders are captivating and do more good than bad, despite the fact that they are not actually seen and portrayed like this. While their appearance can be creepy, they're bashful creatures, and the vast majority of them truly are of no danger by any stretch of the imagination. Out of the almost 50,000 arachnid species known around the world, just around 25 to 30 of them are perceived as hazardous to humans. And surprisingly, numerous of these creepy creatures would opt to run off as opposed to battle with you. And more surprisingly, black widows, famous for their dangerous toxins, seldom leave behind a fatality and predominantly do as such in much older or much younger individuals. And still, many give dry bites, even in self-protection. Spiders simply need to be left alone, and besides a silly fear, unless you're living in a region with certain genuinely dangerous species, you have no need to kill them, particularly considering the fact that they can even help to reduce the number of harmful insects in your home. Like what you saw? Then check out our latest video here, how binge watching is ruining your health. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating content here on Mostly Everything.